Hi, my name is Paya Pichkah. I play football for GIF Sundsvall and you're listening to Bezan podcast.
دایی یه فرصت خوب حالا پشت مدافعان خداداد عزیزی توی دروازه گل برای ایران خداداد عزیزی باز هم روی زمین گشت سردار آزمون و توی دروازه سردار آزمون گل به نام آزمون و برای ایران بزنه کریم انصاری گل توی دروازه کریم انصاری دروازه پرتغال باز شد علی دایی سام توپ توی دروازه گل اشتباه حرکت از کوچان نژاد فرصت برای کوچان نژاد توی دروازه گل برای ایران.
Welcome back everyone to Bezan podcast. My name's Arya Allahverdi. In today's episode we've got an interview with Paya Pichkah, 23-year-old midfielder from Sundsvall in Sweden. Currently playing in the Superettan. Last season they were playing in the Allsvenskan. We'll speak about his career in Sweden, his aspirations of one day playing for the Iran national team, and much more. Lastly, before we get into it, just want to remind you to subscribe to us on YouTube, leave a like and rating on all podcast platforms, and make sure to leave a comment as well, and hopefully enjoy the episode.
Pichkah skjuter och den sitter i mål! Paya Pichkah!
Alright, I'm joined by Paya Pichkah from Sundsvall in Sweden. Good to have you on, Paya. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Good to have you on Bezan podcast. We've been trying to get you, obviously, for a long time. You've been playing in Sweden all of your, or most of your life anyway, since you moved to Sweden. Before we get into the kind of the proper interview, let's speak about yesterday's game that you had in the league against, is it Trelleborgs? Is that how you say it? Trelleborgs?
Yeah, Trelleborg. Yeah.
Yeah. How was that? I mean, you guys were 3-1 down, losing the game 3-1, and you came back to win 4-3.
Yeah, crazy game, man. And it was an important game too because we came from two losses at home, and then this one was pretty important for the rest of the time coming, But yeah, it was a crazy game. It was so bad the first half, and then the pitch was horrible because the grass pitches here in Sweden, they're really like good for 2 months, like during the summers. So like early in the season and late in the season, the pitch is so bad, the grass pitches. That's why we play on artificial grass too. But it was so bad the first half, and then the second half we just had a bit of luck, and then we turned up. It was a crazy game though.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it. I know you got a yellow card as well towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
But you've been starting quite regularly this season, so it's good to see that you're getting some wins as well. Okay, let's speak about yourself, Paya. Obviously, I think a lot of the Iranian football fans around the world have heard about you. You've been, as I said, last season you were playing in Allsvenskan. But let's go back to your early days. You were born in Iran. You're from Shah, is that right? From the north of Iran.
North of Iran. I was born there, but I was raised in Babol, and Babol Sar is also in Mazandaran, in Shomal. So yeah, born and raised until I was 11, and then we moved here.
And obviously you're a young kid. Did you play in Iran at all at that age?
No, not like I was more of a, we had like teams in school, so I was in, but I would play more basketball than football. It was more like on the streets and with the friends and with family and relatives and stuff. Not so much like with a team, in Iran. It was more when I came here that I started to play with like youth teams and stuff.
And you just moved to Sweden for like a better life, or it was just
Yeah, you can say that, but some complications too with the family and stuff.
And in terms of obviously when you were in Iran at young age, obviously I'm sure you would have followed Iranian football. What was it like? I said, with your family, do you have family in Iran who played football as well, or like parents or whatever it may be?
Yeah, I mean, I had not like at top level. It was more like in the local teams, and I have especially on my father's side, they're like football crazy. So, and I have a lot of relatives left in Iran. Um, and I had a couple that played in, like I said, in local teams, but not like top tier football or anything. Yeah.
And you moved to Sweden. Which part of Sweden did you move to at that age? Which city?
My uncle was living here in Sundsvall, so that's why we
Right.
moved here, like from the
Okay.
beginning. And then yeah, I've been living here in Sundsvall since I came to Sweden.
And you're 11 years old. Was it a big kind of culture shock for you, or did you adapt really quickly to the way of life in Sweden?
No, it was definitely a shock. It's very different, the life and everything.
The weather.
But the weather, of course,
Yeah.
yeah. But luckily we came like during the summer, so it wasn't that bad. But then it hit, and it
And
was
then you
crazy.
realized how bad it was afterwards.
Yeah. I realized what they were talking about. But no, but the culture shock was crazy. And then, but you're still young though. At 11, you come into it pretty quickly. You go to school, you like make friends and stuff. So it goes pretty fast.
Yeah, for sure, and you can see like you've got a strong kind of Swedish accent, so you've kind of brought in that kind of culture as well now to your daily life. Okay, early days then about your footballing career, in Sweden. You've been at this club Sundsvall for obviously most of your kind of professional career. Before joining this team, what was your pathway? Where did you start off?
So I was when I came to Sweden, I started like going to the school here in nearby, and then my friends there were playing in the local team. So it just like kind of went smooth. I just started with the training with them, just a like small local team, and I played there up until I was 15, I think, like late 15, yeah. And then that's when in Sweden, that's when you start to get like call-ups to the like I don't know what it's called in English, but like the county team, like the
Yeah,
best players in the local.
yeah.
Yeah, so I got called up to that, and then when you get the call up there, then you get the like you get the eyes on you, from different academies and stuff like that. So that's when I started playing for like GIF Sundsvall when I was 15. I switched to their academy to their like under 17s when I was 15, and then played 1 year in the under 17s and 1 year in the under 19s, and then I started training with the first squad. So yeah, it went pretty fast when I went to give.
And then when you were playing at that age, were you always a midfielder, or were you like a defender, or what was your role at that age?
No, I've been midfielder all my like career. Uh, but when I came up to the first team, obviously like uh, they 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 take the best players from the academy, but it's not always like the position that they want. So you have to be able to adapt to different positions in the trainings. So I would play like I was striker like, in the trainings for like a while in the first team before I was playing in the first team. And I've been playing as a like wide midfielder too. Um, like on the left, I played like 2 years ago in the games too. But mainly midfielder, central midfielder.
And obviously, you're very tall. You're quite a commanding presence in the midfield. How do you see your in that kind of sense, and positionally, your kind of career uh, progressing? Do you see yourself as a number six? Do you see yourself as a little bit higher up the pitch? What do you see for yourself? You're still a young player,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. I mean, I still have time to like adapt. See what's where it takes me. But
Yeah.
obviously, I've had different coaches, and they have like different philosophies on how they would play. And I'm I'm more of like I can play anywhere in the midfield, so I can be a 6 because I obviously have the attributes, the physical attributes. I'm pretty like strong on the pitch, I'm tall, I can win duels, but then I'm pretty technical. So and I can, I mean, if you look at the numbers, I run a lot, during the games. I'm really more of a like box to box midfielder. That's what I was used as like to these 2-3 years, more like a box to box. But yeah, I feel like when I play, I feel the best when I'm box to box because then you get to decide like what you want to do. You have more like a free role.
And
So yeah,
you scored a really good goal last season when you kind of curled it top corner. I don't know if was that last season or the
yeah,
season
it was
before.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
The
season
one
before.
before.
But it was like,
Yeah,
and even just a couple of weeks ago, you scored a great goal as well. And you can see you've got the kind of ability to get forward and get into kind of attacking positions as well. So you never know what happens for your future. Maybe a number 8 is the role for you.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, I I mean, I have the capacity to run a lot, so I come into those like spaces, like the second wave and these kind of stuff, and I have the energy to get back on defense too. So yeah, I feel good at number 8. Yeah,
That's great. Okay, so let's speak about your obviously since you moved to Sundsvall, it's Sundsvall, right? I'm pronouncing it right, Sundsvall.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Since you
good.
moved there, how's it been for you? Obviously professional now, for a few years now. How has this kind of path been for you over the last few years?
Just like football, or
Yeah, being in the first team, playing regular football. Last season, you were obviously in Allsvenskan. You guys got relegated. Now you're back in the Super Ratan.
yeah.
Overall, how have these last 3 years made you grow as a footballer?
I mean, it's been tough because like the first year I was up in and playing, it was our first year down in the second league because we were up in the first league before that, and it was like we played great football. We had like it suited me, because I'm more of a playing midfielder and I want to pass the ball. I want to play. It was really good, but we didn't like we liked the defense. So we couldn't make it like we couldn't get the promotion. But then the year after that, we played more like direct, and obviously you learn a lot from that kind of game too. You have to go to war every game, because you have to win like second balls and duels and those kind of things. And then when you go up to the first league, is you can see like you feel the difference, in the tempo of the game and the like how much faster it is and how much more details like play a role in the result, like end result. It was more like, but last year was tough. We didn't win a lot of games, but yeah, you learn a lot from that too. You just have to just stay humble, just grind and then do your best, and then obviously this year we're the favorites again, and you go through that like roller coaster, because like last year we were like the underdogs. We had to go into every game just like grinding, and then this year we have all the expectations to win every game, so you learn a lot as a player. Like I said, you just yeah.
And obviously, as I said, you were relegated. Now you're playing this season. Obviously, I said you won the game yesterday. You guys are, I think, mid-table now. You scored a goal as well. What are the plans then? I mean, how does the Swedish league work again? Swedish league goes through the summer, doesn't it? It goes through the summer and
Yeah.
it stops in the winter time. So, what is your kind of objectives between now and then? To the sort of mid to like what the winter period.
No, it's just this year the focus on is just play as much as possible and then try to get the promotion, go up to the first league because we are a top team, if you look at the players. We have a thin squad, but it's a we have quality in the squad. So for me it's just get the playing time, get the good get some points, like assists and goals, and yeah.
Good stuff. And obviously, there was a time when you joined the first team, Alireza Haghighi was also playing in that team for a lot of short time. I don't think you even play that many games for Sundsvall at the time. Maybe you didn't even play
No.
any games. But what was your kind of interaction with him like? Obviously, him being an international goalkeeper, the World Cup. Did you have much interaction with him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we both like Persian, so we obviously like talked to each other a lot during that time. But like you said, it was a short period of time. It was right before the World Cup in 2018. So I think the objective of the move was like just come to Sundsvall and get the playing time, you know. And it didn't turn out like he wanted to, so it was like a frustrating time for him. And I understand him, you know, but so it wasn't the best period for him. So, but it was good though. Like I was 18 I was 17 when he came, and it was obviously a huge thing. You know, he's a goalkeeper. He's the goalkeeper for the team Melli, and it was pretty big.
Coming on to obviously other Iranians playing in Sweden. Obviously, we've had Salman Ghoddos as well, who's obviously made the national team. He's one of the key players playing the Premier League now. He also came from your league as well, from the Super Ratan. He actually played a league below that as well.
Yeah.
We've had many players, especially in the last couple of years, coming through. Is it the club Kalmar have just signed two Iranian players, Arvin and Aryan as well. They've both been signed. Obviously, Sean Sobedkar has been playing in the Allsvenskan for a few years. Christopher Khazani as well playing a few years. So there's quite a few Iranian Swedish players. You're one of them. You also have played for the Swedish youth national team as well. Speak to us about that, about your path going into that setup. As an Iranian coming from Iran, then playing for the Swedish national youth national teams. How was that kind of? How was that for you? Those times in those national teams.
Yeah, it was like they obviously like picked the players from the academy. So I got the call up when I came to the GIF Academy, you know, and from there I played like in the under 17s for Sweden, and then the under 19s I played like a few games too. And it's a special feeling, you know. You come to Sweden, you know, as an 11-year-old, and you know you how can I say this, but like it's a special feeling just because like all your like growing up you think about like Team Melli and playing for Iran, and then now you're playing for a different national team. It's special, you know, but it's different. But it was a really good experience though, like because I played in Sundsvall all my life, and then you get to get that chance to show yourself on another level, and it was fun, man. It was very nice.
Did you play in the UEFA qualifiers a little while ago? I think
No, no, I was in the squad, but I didn't get to play those games, those like
yeah.
3 games.
Am I right in saying you had like Scotland in that group as well, and maybe was it Wales or Spain or something like
Yeah,
that? Yeah,
it was Scotland, Wales, and I think it was like San Marino, like
yeah,
very,
that's right. It was San Marino. That's right. That's right.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's still a great experience for you, and hopefully that translates. Coming in my next question, with regards to playing for Iran, has there been much contact for yourself with the federation or the coaching staff, even when Carlos Queiroz was there between now and then? Was there any kind of communication?
No, not really. No, like not like direct contact, but it was some kind of like contact between like my agent and I don't know who he really was, but it was like someone working for the federation that I
Right.
was, but it wasn't like direct contact, you know, it wasn't that like serious, like,
Yeah.
but no, not really.
And what are your aspirations then to play for Iran? Is that what you're wanting to do? Obviously now you're playing in the second tier, so things become a little bit harder. Hopefully
Yeah.
you might get a transfer in the summer or maybe next year. What are your kind of goals then with regards to national team football? Are you trying to get into the national team now? So you're 23 years old, so you're at a good age for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it would be an honor to represent Iran, you know. And like I said, all the time growing up, you just see Team Melli, and that's obviously the dream to play for them, you know. So it would be a very nice experience.
When you look at this national team currently, you've got players like Saeed Atullahi, you've got Ahmad Nurullahi who play in your position, Ali Karimi who plays in Turkey. Looking at that, do you kind of see yourself fitting in to this national team quite well, or do you still think you've got a couple more years to improve on? How do you see yourself currently in this national team?
Yeah, obviously I watch the games, and yeah, I see myself playing in that team because they have like very technical players, and obviously when they play bigger teams, they defend a lot. I'm a very good defensive player in the midfield, and I cover a lot of space, and I can run a lot, and I'm pretty technical myself. So I see definitely myself fitting in the team.
You may have watched the World Cup in Qatar, and we didn't do so well against England. Again against the US, we didn't play up to standard. How do you feel about that World Cup for Iran? What's your analysis of Iran's three performances?
Uh, I mean, it was difficult because of everything going on, like outside the pitch. Because like me as a football player, I know like firsthand how important it is to like have prepare yourself for the game, like mentally, physically, and that plays a big role. And but I think like the game against Wales was like it was the best I've seen Iran for a while. It was like a very good game they played, like very solid. But the game against US, it was so, and then yeah, it was a good World Cup, like playing wise, but it was sad that it got, how can you say, like affected by everything else.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And then I think overall, um, we've got a new coach that's come in. Garanoy, he's a new coach in charge. Um, Potentially looking to bring in young players. There's a chance that you may or may not, you never know, get into the Asian Cup squad. We have to wait and see. But it's always a difficult one because being from being playing in Sweden, you might not be getting the same kind of attention that players maybe in the Iranian league are getting. What do you think you have to do for your career to try and get seen more? Do you think you have to move from this club, or do you think go somewhere else?
Yeah, I think it's more like you have to almost be in the first league in the whatever like country you play in.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first step. You have to get to that top tier. But yeah, but just even in the second league now, just have to put up a bit more like numbers.
Mm.
Obviously this year I'm more of a defensive midfielder, but still I have to get those, to really like catch the eyes of the scouts and stuff. You have to score more goals and put up more numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So what is your future plans? Are you looking for a transfer? I know you don't want to speak about transfers. Obviously, you're a professional footballer, but is that something you're looking to do? Like, are you looking to go abroad to another country, or do you want to stay in Sweden for a few more years? What are your kind of plans in that sense?
I think the ideal plan would be to play top tier here in Sweden, and then after that have a move like out in Europe or somewhere, But yeah, that would be the ideal plan. But if I get a move from like here to somewhere else in Europe, then that's good too.
And then you look at someone Ghodus's career as a good kind of pathway that he took. Obviously, he went from Östersund, he went to France. He didn't have a great season in France. It was okay. He got a few injuries, but do you see that as like a pathway for yourself as well? The way he went down, considering
Yeah,
also considering your talent level is not too far off from someone, especially at the kind of age that you're both when he was your age as well.
right. But I mean, the path he had, it was pretty special because he played in a club here in Sweden called Östersund, and they made it to the Europa League, you know, and that was a different path because they won. When you win the Swedish Cup, then you go to like the Europe qualification and stuff, and then their team did very, very well, and I think he got a lot of attention from those games. You know, they obviously played against Arsenal and those kind of teams, so it definitely helps. But yeah, if that, I mean, you could say he had a jump, you know, in his career because of that Europa League experience and that. So, but yeah, of course, like you look at his career and hope to do the same.
Do you have any messages for the kind of Iranian fans listening to it? I know a lot of people are wanting to see you in the national team. A lot of people that I know who follow your football believe that you've got quite a lot of ability and a lot what it takes to get to the national team. Do you have any messages for them and the people who really want to see you play for Iran?
I just appreciate all the love, you know, because every time I score and every time I post on Instagram and stuff, I get a lot of messages, and most of them are from like Iranian fans. So I just appreciate every one of them, you know, and I really want to play in Iran and help the team as much as possible, you know.
Yeah, fantastic. Paya, I really appreciate that. I know you got a little bit of a cold as well. Didn't want to take too much of your time. Appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on. Again, best of luck for your future. We hope to see you in the national team at some point as well. And yeah, man, enjoy the rest of the season, and hopefully we'll speak soon.
Thank you. You sure will.
Thanks again to Paya for his time. It was a pleasure to have him on Bezan podcast. A reminder that you can also support our work on Patreon at patreon.com/Bezan. You can find us on social media at Bezan and on our website, goalbezanpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, my name is Salman Godus. I'm playing for the Iranian national team and Brentford Football Club, and you are listening to Bezan podcast.